Michael Jackson was called the King of Pop, but sometimes I wonder if that title was also a cage, because when the world looks at Michael, it often sees the moonwalk, the glove, the stage lights, the screaming crowds, the impossible talent. It sees a man who seemed larger than life. But behind all of that was someone who may have spent his whole life trying to find something very simple: a childhood. Not fame, not applause, not another record-breaking album, just the right to be innocent. Hi everyone, welcome back to Dude Psychology.
Hi, everyone. And maybe that is why Neverland still fascinates people so much. Because Neverland was not just a mansion, it was not just an amusement park, it was not just a rich celebrity's fantasy. Psychologically, Neverland looked like a wound trying to become a home. To understand Michael Jackson, we have to go back to the beginning, before the global fame, before the stadiums, before the world decided who he was. He was a child, but his childhood was not built around play, freedom, mistakes, and softness. It was built around rehearsal, discipline, performance, pressure, and expectation. While other children were learning who they were, Michael was learning how to be excellent. While other children were allowed to be messy, tired, shy, silly, or afraid, Michael had to become extraordinary. And when a child is forced to become extraordinary too early, something painful can happen inside. A part of them grows up too fast, but another part stays behind, waiting.
This is what people often mean when they talk about a stolen childhood. It is not just that someone missed out on fun, it is deeper than that. It means they missed the emotional safety that childhood is supposed to give. They missed the feeling that love can exist without performance. They missed the freedom to be valued even when they are not perfect. And if you listen closely to Michael's life, you can almost feel that missing piece echoing through everything he created. That is where the idea of Peter Pan syndrome enters the conversation. It is not an official clinical diagnosis, but it describes something many people understand emotionally: an adult who feels deeply attached to childhood, innocence, imagination, and escape from the harshness of adult life.
But with Michael, I don't think it was simply about refusing to grow up. I think it was about trying to return to a place he was never truly allowed to live in. Neverland was his answer to a question his heart may have been asking for decades. Where can I finally be safe? The train, the rides, the candy, the animals, the childlike wonder, these were not just decorations, they were symbols. They were pieces of a lost world he was trying to rebuild. For most people, an amusement park is a place you visit. For Michael, it may have been an emotional shelter, a place where joy could be controlled, a place where innocence could be protected, a place where the outside world could not easily enter. And that outside world was brutal.
Imagine being watched from childhood, judged from childhood, praised and criticized by millions before you even fully know yourself. When people grow up under that kind of attention, they may develop two selves. One self performs, the other self hides. And Michael's performing self was almost superhuman, precise, magical, perfectionistic. Every movement mattered, every note mattered, every detail mattered. But the hidden self seemed much more fragile, a boy still searching for gentleness, a person who wanted love without fear, a soul who had been adored by the world, yet somehow still seemed painfully lonely. That is one of the deepest contradictions of fame. Millions can love your image, while very few truly know your heart.
Michael often appeared drawn to children, animals, fantasy, and innocence. From a psychological point of view, that makes sense. Children and animals do not respond to fame the same way adults do. They do not care about awards, headlines, status, or power. They respond to energy, to kindness, to play, to presence. For someone who had spent his life surrounded by business, control, pressure, and judgment, that kind of simple connection may have felt like oxygen. But this is also where his story becomes complicated and heartbreaking, because the same innocence he tried to protect became something the world questioned, analyzed, and debated. And maybe that is why Michael Jackson remains so difficult to understand.
He was not just one thing. He was genius and vulnerability, power and pain, discipline and escape, a grown man and a wounded child living in the same body. And maybe that is why his life touches people so deeply, because even if our lives are nothing like his, many of us understand the feeling of carrying an old version of ourselves inside. The child who was not protected enough, the child who had to be strong too soon, the child who learned to perform for love. Michael's story is not only about celebrity, it is about what happens when talent is celebrated but pain is misunderstood. It is about how a person can give the world magic while still searching for peace.
As a lifelong fan of Michael Jackson, I don't look at his story with judgment. I look at it with sadness, love, and curiosity. Because behind the headlines, behind the music, behind the mystery, I see a human being who wanted something we all want: to be loved without having to earn it, to be safe without having to explain why, to finally become whole. And maybe Neverland was not really about never growing up. Maybe it was about trying to heal the child who never got the chance.
Recently, I watched the biographical movie based on his true life story, and it moved me deeply. It reminded me that behind the headlines was a soul searching for peace. His life is a testament to the fact that some things in human psychology are incredibly difficult to explain. They are deep, layered, and often painful. Michael's story isn't just about fame. It's about the universal human need for love, safety, and the preservation of innocence. I created this analysis because I truly love him, and I believe that by understanding the why behind his world, we can appreciate his genius and his struggles even more. Thank you for watching Dude Psychology. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Michael Jackson created Neverland to escape adulthood or to finally recover the childhood he lost?